Hello everyone, Bill Adams, Realtor, Coldwell Banker Realty. Hey, joining us today is Robert Geraldo. Robert is the owner of Geraldo Family Insurance. Robert, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Why don't we start out by you telling us about your business?
Well, it's Geraldo Family Insurance, and I sell Medicare insurance, and I'm now a broker, so I offer many different carriers, to include United Healthcare, Humana, Blue Cross Blue Shield, several. A lot of the smaller ones too. Banner now has their own Advantage plans, so I do represent them, along with Devoted and some others as well.
Right. Well, how did you get into the business?
Well, helping a family member go through the complexity of Medicare made me realize there's a huge need for somebody who's there to help and listen, not just sell a product. And I couldn't find that for my mother-in-law. So now that's what I try to do, is treat everybody like they're my family and give them the options and explain it to them in a manner they can understand and make it as simple and as easy as possible for them.
Oh, okay. Well, personally, I really understand that, because when I went through that process, it was, besides confusing, it was very frustrating. Trying to understand what the options were, what they meant. And it was almost like you had to know what questions to ask in order to find out what information you needed to have. So it was almost like a catch-22.
And that's where I come in. I do an assessment on each person that I meet with and find out what your actual needs are to address those medical problems, as well as the financial situation that you're in. That has a big thing to do with insurance, is finding that happy balance between the two.
Yeah. So as you got your business rolling, I'm sure there were some memorable experiences. Any one particular stand out in mind you'd like to share with us?
My first client, she is a sweet little lady who is very passionate about her whole medical situation, and she calls me up, and usually each month, and we go over her mail, and she doesn't have no family. So she is my first client, and probably the one I spend the most time with, because she gets a lot of mail about Medicare, and she's worried about being scammed, which is good. She calls me up, we go over her stuff, we talk about her family, her kids. You know, they live in another part of the country, and it's nice to always touch bases with her every month and make sure she's doing okay.
Yeah, very rewarding for you too, I'm sure.
It is. Yeah. It is.
So what are the main challenges that you run into in your business?
Well, there's a couple. The first one would be the government regulations. They put a lot of regulations in place to protect the seniors, but at the same time, it makes it difficult for me to explain to somebody. When I'm talking to you on the phone, I have to record it, so I have to get permission to record it. And we have to read certain verbiage so they know what their options are. And breaking through that to find out what they really need is what's important to me. So a lot of times it's the trust factor. People who don't know me and don't know my background, it's hard for them to have me just come into their home and them tell me what kind of medical issues they have, so I can get them the help they need. You know, there's difference between a chronic condition and just somebody who's healthy and in great shape like you are.
Well, thank you.
So people have different needs, and it's just important to build that relationship with my clients and have it carry on year after year. Know they can always call me. All my clients have my cell phone number, and that way they know they can call me if they have questions.
Now, you mean they don't go into a call center, or
no?
Maybe can't even talk to a real life person?
No. So I have two ways of handling things like that. They can talk to me, and if it's an in-depth billing issue, for example, what we can do is I have a back office, and what I do is I have one of my employees get a hold of the client. They do a three-way call with the carrier, with the doctor's office, wherever the problem lies, and they work it out. They're highly trained, they're great people, and I'm monitoring it each time. Anytime they have any communication, I always get a copy. So then at the end of it, I reach back out to the client and make sure that they're happy and satisfied with the outcome. That's what's important.
Wow, great. So what do you hear back from your clients? What kind of feedback do you get?
guess the biggest one is that they're happy it was so much easier than they thought it was going to be. They expect, after all the stuff they read and all the phone calls they get, they're expecting a different experience than what I give them. And my experience, I would say, is probably more personal. When I go there, I want to know about them. I want to know about their family. I want to have that personal connection. And once I get to know who they are and find out their needs, then I give them their options. And I think it just makes it a lot easier for them to be relaxed, and they're happy about it. It's always a sigh of relief once they're done with the Medicare options and they move on. So you see that big sigh of relief they have.
That's great. So what motivates Robert?
So my background is in public service. I retired from the state of Nevada with over 25 years as a lieutenant for the Department of Public Safety. So for me, before that, I was even in the Marine Corps. So it's always been serving, always having a mission. Didn't have that for a couple of years in retirement. So when I stumbled across this, it was nice. It was that self-need, the need to help somebody. And I found it, and I love it. I love being needed. I think we all do. We all have to have a purpose in life, and for me, it's just helping people who are vulnerable. Our senior population is very vulnerable in this country, and I feel it's important that we protect them and give them what they deserve.
Well, that's great.
Thanks.
So with your business and the passion that you have for it, as you continue growing it, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of focus. What do you do for Robert? What does Robert do for fun?
Robert is a golfer. Not a very good golfer, but I'm a golfer. I love it. I'm a member here at Incanterra. Great people here, very supportive, and they help me with my game every time we go out, that's for sure. So it's nice to have that camaraderie at the golf course. So that would be my big one. That travel. My wife and I like to travel, and anytime we can take a trip somewhere, we definitely do it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking time with us today. Sounds like you have a phenomenal business that provides a great service, to the senior community, and well-rounded with your golf and family travel. I appreciate taking time today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Appreciate it.
All right, folks. Hey, if you have questions regarding Medicare, I know that's a challenging subject. Reach out to Robert at Geraldo Family Insurance. And this is Bill Adams, Coldwell Banker Realty. Thank you.